Welcome to the training class of Conflict Communications. I'm Steve Shills. I'm the Northern Field Rep for Local Government Risk Management Services and will be doing the training for you today. The objective of this course is to provide you with the skills and knowledge you need to manage those difficult, even unreasonable citizens. It's no laughing matter. When we are projected in the media, whether it be TV, movies, etc., government employees are usually shown as inept, backwards, uneducated, or just difficult to deal with. And since so many people get their perception from the media, this is how they perceive us. So it is our job to change that perception upon our initial interaction with them. It's no laughing matter when dealing with the general public, but you have to look at it from their standpoint. We, as government employees, are portrayed in the media as being inept, uneducated, stupid, backwards. And so when the vast majority of the public has to come and deal with us, they're coming from that standpoint of, I'm going to deal with a bunch of idiots. It's our job to change that perception. Reality is it is in each person's perception. The moral of the story, the general public feels like when they come to do business with us, it's going to be an argument. And you must understand, they're usually there because they're having to pay fines, pay taxes, pay bills. It's not a happy experience. From our employee standpoint, we look at it as here comes another person to complain to me today in a long list. And if we each approach it from that perception, an argument will ensue. So how do we change it? Number one, we need to remember we are in the customer service business. They are our customer, not taxpayers, not the general public. They are our customers. So if we'll approach it from customer service, we then look that we are the problem solver. We are looking for ways to take their problem and solve it so they walk away with a positive impression of their interaction with us, and more importantly, that they would look for us the next time they had a problem. So how do we start on this conflict communication customer service process? Number one, you can make the change. First impressions are lasting impressions. So if you will greet each customer with a smile, it will really make a difference. It shows that you're caring, you're willing to work with them. And also, try to be relaxed in the body language. That shows you're willing to work to help them and assist them in solving their problems. What happens though when it's a tough interaction? Don't let your body language give you away. Don't become arms folded, tense. Don't be frowning, eyes squinched. Still maintain the smile. Still show that you're willing to work with them and you're trying to solve the problem. Now, after the process, when it is done, it is not unreasonable for you to need to step back, take a few deep breaths, cleanse your system, get relaxed, and have a smile to greet the next customer. And do keep in mind, in this interaction, our job is to change our customer's attitude, right? So when you're dealing with them, remember, they are mad at the system. They are not mad at you as an individual. They may call you by name. They may even actually curse you by name, but they are mad at the system. So don't take it personally. If you need a quick reminder of this, keep a Q-tip on your desk. And when you deal with these customers who are attacking you personally, look at the Q-tip and remember that the Q-tip says, quit taking it personally. They are not mad at you as the individual, but they are upset at the system. I cannot stress to you enough that you must listen carefully to the customer. Don't be multitasking. Look at it from your own perspective. How irritating is it when you're trying to deal with a person that you've got a problem with and they're trying to do 3 or 4 different things. They're on the phone, they're typing, they're doing anything other than paying attention to you. So, listen carefully. Don't interrupt. Sometimes it is simply best to let them get this out of their system. And what you're doing by listening carefully, though, is you're looking for that opening that you can step in and say, let me see if I heard you correctly. this is your problem, and repeat it back to them. If they acknowledge that is the problem, then we are on the path to taking corrective steps. If they come back and ask you a question, always pause before answering, because that gives the appearance of you're thinking the solution before you just give it to them. And once again, don't interrupt. Don't try to get to the end of the solution before letting them vent the problem. That can just simply frustrate them more. And when dealing with these customers, if you are able to solve their problem, it's not wrong to apologize for any inconvenience that is presented to them. The problem has been solved. The steps have been taken. And here's a novel idea. After taking the steps to make sure it has been done, make a simple phone call later to follow up, just to make sure that the problem has actually been solved. This will really go a long way in changing how they view interacting with local government. But more importantly, the next time they come in, they are actually going to want to deal with you because they know you get stuff done. What about when you can't solve their problem? I know we're the government, but we can't solve everything. When it is a problem that is beyond your control, don't lie. Don't tell them something just to make them go away. Be truthful with them. I can't solve this problem, or it's a problem we can't solve. We will send it on up the ladder, etc. But don't tell them something simply to make them walk away. In these interactions, remember this. When I was with a prior employer, an insurance carrier, I was transferred out of New Orleans to Atlanta. The New Orleans office got behind, and so they asked that I come back down to help them with their book of business, because I would know where Chapatula Street was, and I'm not having to look it up on the map. When I go to one of the insureds, I walk in, and the lady I'm to meet with looked at me, and she said, "I have been waiting on you." Well, no, ma'am, you haven't, because you didn't know I was coming, and this is not my territory anymore. But then, by the clock on the wall, she proceeded to cuss me for a solid hour. She was extremely upset with the system. And I could listen and hear what her problem was, but she really just needed to vent. And as she's venting, I'm looking for that opening to step in where we can say, "Let me see if I hear you correctly." Well, in New Orleans, they have actually two famous streets most people have heard of. Bourbon Street, which quite a few of you may have already gone down, and then Canal Street. Well, she looked at me during this venting of her, and she said, "They hired all of you yahoos off the corner of Bourbon Street." Well, I looked at her, smiled, and I said, "No, ma'am, they got me off the corner of Canal." Well, she laughed, looked at me, and then she apologized and said, "I'm sorry." And I said, "Ma'am, that's okay. You needed to get that out of your system, but let me see if I've heard what your problem is. Your problem is this, correct?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Well, here is a solution you may not be happy with, but if you feel this is a potential problem for you in the future, this is a way to address it." We discussed it. I left with a satisfied customer. So, remember the golden rule. Treat others, people, the way you would want to be treated, and you will do well in avoiding these conflicts. Some can't be solved, and on some customers you can't make them happy. But take the steps, make interaction a new one for you. Always start with a smile, end with a smile, and it will go a long way towards making it a better day for you. This concludes the conflict communications training. Please, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact your field representative, or more importantly yet, go to www.lgrms.com to our website, where we have more of these trainings available to you. Thank you for your time.